one of the ways in which I gauge which games are probably my favorites is how many times will I replay it. And one of those games that falls into that category is Undertale. I don't even know how many times I played Undertale. It was multiple times. You know, I played it the first time and it was whatever. I mean, not whatever, but I really enjoyed it. And then I thought, you know what, let's play this again. And then I did that a few more times. And then I went online and engaged with a bunch of like fan creations, fan art, fan comics, like music remixes, animations. I fell in love with the game. Nearly to the point, maybe even past the point, which I would now consider kind of cringe. But, I really liked it. So, of course, when I found out that Toby Fox was making a new game, I was like, yes, please. More? Yes? It was past the point already, which I was as invested in Undertale as I was. It was past that point when Deltarune Chapter 1 came out. I was like, you know what? I need to be done with Undertale, whatever. And then, like, a year or so later, Deltarune Chapter 1 came out. And I was like, okay, I'm jumping back into this. At the time, I wasn't really sure what to expect. It felt like the natural progression to what Undertale was. Slightly different mechanics, different characters, but still kind of the same silliness, and still the keeping the mercy mechanics that Undertale had. It felt like exactly what the next Toby Fox game would be. Maybe just a little closer to a traditional RPG. Not by much, but a little bit closer. And it was surprisingly longer than I think anyone expected for the first chapter of a game to be. People were like, is this a new game? Is this a demo? What is this? I have no clue what's going on. And it was like, oh, this is like a demo. But this is like an 8-hour demo or something like that. I don't know, it's a very long game. Especially if you want to go through everything as you would have with Undertale. It is, it's not a super long game, but it is much longer than you would expect it to be. You got a new character, a new supporting cast, a new like tone to the game. Not a hugely different tone. I mean, it keeps a very similar tone, but rather than, oh, nobody has to die, all your decisions matter very much. This time around, it's like, yeah, your decisions don't matter all that much. I mean, like a little bit, but not a whole lot. Not in the grand scheme of things. Like, your choices can affect some things in this, like, throughout the game, but it's not like you can change the outcome. So, it was different. And then, at the end, Toby's like, yeah, so, there's gonna be more, eventually. Maybe in a few years, or more, I don't know. And it just kind of felt like, oh, you teased us and now you're gonna, keep us waiting. All right. And like even just within the last couple of years, after Deltarune Chapter 1 came out, like just like with Undertale, people like really latched onto it. I think it's not quite as big as Undertale was. I don't think it'll ever get to that level because of how big Undertale was when it came out. It just enveloped so much of the internet that I don't think even Deltarune could live up to that. I mean, yes, it's very popular, understandably, but I just don't think it'll get to that level. Even so, it's clearly doing well, and I was super excited for Chapter 2 to come out. Now, the first chapter was like all about characters related to playing cards. That was like the big overarching like theme. I mean, there was like some board games in there, but it was mostly cards, which was interesting. And then you had like the secret final boss, which was the Joker card, essentially, and it was interesting. And then now, with that out of the way, we've moved on to now a new theme, which is the internet, computers, memes, kind of. Maybe, I don't know. It's just like computers and internet, the big ones. Even the main villain, you can clearly tell right away as soon as they're introduced, like, oh, this is a, well, if I were to self-censor myself, I would say, this is an S poster, like hardcore. Like on her eyes, she says Lamau, stuff like that, and she's a computer herself, I guess. It's weird, but the internet theme, it works really well in Chapter 2. You've got pop-ups, you've got viruses, you got a character that represents spam. It's super good. And then, oh my god, there's this one character, well, it's an NPC who's not super important, but I think it's my favorite. And he's like, yeah, so there's this, evil tyrannical dictator going on and this resistance force, but, I'm not really into politics, so I'm not going to have any input on that, even though he describes her as an evil tyrannical dictator. It's like, okay, interesting. It was great. There's one point where a character named Hackerman is looking for blue checks. It's like, oh god, it's Twitter. Oh no. It's a great second chapter overall. As per usual, everything's doing great. The characters are progressing nicely. I mean, the first chapter was kind of self-contained, where you had like these character arcs with your supporting cast, and they were like nearly complete character arcs too. Like especially Susie had like the most growth, and it ended, and it's like, oh, well, that's a nice little self-contained story, but it's like, no, now it's continuing. And since your character's got the most development already, Susie's developing a little bit more, so is Ralsei, but now you get Noelle and Birdley showing up, and they're getting some development. I don't know if they're going to show up later. I don't know if they're going to be future party members, because it seems like it happened and now they're probably not going to be super involved. So who knows? I really don't know how much they're going to be involved. I don't know how much anyone else is going to be involved, but it's kind of up in the air, because there's going to be 5 more chapters after this, it looks like. But yeah, I mean, their development seemed pretty good. The story's great. It's silly as you'd expect from Toby Fox. There's plenty of Easter eggs to find, some of which are very strange and cryptic, others of which are just completely silly and make no sense and are pointless. There's a couple fight mechanics that are really interesting, and I liked them. Once again, there's another secret boss, which you can fight in 2 different ways. In one way, I guess it's still a secret boss, but in one aspect, it's more of a secret boss than the other. And by that, there's somehow Toby Fox worked in another genocide route in this one, but like a smaller one, not a very big one. And no one was really expecting that, especially since Toby especially said before, like, your choices don't matter. The story's going to continue anyway. Apparently they somewhat do matter, because that majorly changes things. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like another Easter egg. I don't know how much it's going to affect the overall story. Probably not a whole lot, but who knows? Maybe there's going to be more to that. Maybe not. Maybe that's a one-time deal. Yeah, there's some more interesting mechanics that are going on. It's interesting. And the Queen is just ridiculously silly and has so much meme potential. Toby Fox did get a lot of help this time around, so hopefully future chapters will be coming out a little faster, but who knows? I guess we'll have to see. The Lightner world is having a little bit more development, I guess. Characters are doing other stuff. You can interact with them a little more. I don't know where those reactions are going to go. Toby Fox is really, really teasing us on a potential Papyrus reveal. I don't know why he's teasing us so hard. Maybe it's not Papyrus. Maybe there's something else going on. I don't really know. But even beyond that, there's so many ways to theorize things, because so much about the world of Deltarune is so different from Undertale, but paralleled a little bit. There's so many similarities, but also so many differences, so it's hard to tell what's gonna stay the same and what's gonna be different. So it's gonna be cool to see how that develops. And maybe we'll see Papyrus by chapter 6 or something, or chapter 7, who knows? Or maybe it won't even be Papyrus. I don't know. And then at the end of chapter 1, we got this very strange and dark ending bit, which threw up a lot of questions. A lot of people started theory crafting on that, and most of them were wrong. But you get to see some development past that, As to why that's the case, why what's happened is the case, is very strange, and I guess we'll probably see a little bit more as the story goes on, which might be interesting. But I've got my own theories. I'm not gonna necessarily share them now, but who knows? I'm super excited, and I can't wait for Deltarune Chapter 3. I think Chapter 2 was like free, as was Chapter 1. I'm gonna guess from here on they're probably not gonna be free. They're probably gonna start being charged afterward, either starting Chapter 3 or starting Chapter 4, because Toby did say that they would be no longer free at some point. So we'll see. But I'm definitely getting them. There's no question about that. I'm super excited for more, and that's, I think, about it. Hopefully I didn't forget to say anything. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed listening, and be sure to press all the buttons, and I hope you have a great day.